Round 10 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is brought to you by Pronto Auto Parts Stores and their top quality Pronto brand and Smart Finish brand products. By the Motor Trend Truck of the Year, the new Chevy Silverado. It's the truck. And by Mopar, parts for Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles. From the dealerships that sell and install them. That's the Mopar difference. We're under caution for the first time. Let's go back and take a quick look, show you what happened to Terry Fisher.
And Terry Fisher, there he is all by himself going into turn 3, and he gets very, very low. It's almost like he put that truck on the apron, but does a great job here to keep it off the wall. And I thought he was going to save it, and then he hooks it back, and very lucky not to get T-boned by another truck in turn 4.
And how about David Starr, the 73, right behind him, managed to keep from getting into him, and we are ready to go green flag racing again. And boy, Andy Houston on the restart really fired around, picked up 3 positions.
And how about Ron Hornaday, who gets a great jump on Stacy Compton?
Nobody got the jump on Jay Sauter. He is still up front. Down the backstretch, it is Sauter, then Ron Hornaday, Stacy Compton, Andy Houston, and Dennis Setzer. That's your top 5 on board with the Cat Rental Store Chevrolet of Andy Houston. Son is going to play havoc with us through turns 3 and 4. Sauter maintaining has led every lap since the drop of the green flag. We're working lap number 7 of 167. Houston trying to get underneath of Stacy Compton. Can't do it. In fact, that's a Dodge sandwich right now, and the Chevy of Andy Houston is the meat.
Now we got 2 Chevys out front. Those Dodges have been very quick. 4 of the top 6 trucks in happy hour were Dodge trucks, but right now the Chevy's out front.
So far this year, Chevrolet has 5 wins, Ford has 3, Dodge has 1. Boy, Sauter is looking very strong. His last speed, 176.2 miles an hour. He qualified at 179.
You can see Hornaday now falling back into the clutches of Stacy Compton. Hornaday always so good on those restarts.
Andy Houston, you saw now his best super speedway finish of 2nd. And Brian Reffner behind the wall. They lost the motor that they had done so well in qualifying, and then they ended up purchasing a motor from the number 60 team of Andy Houston. It looks like they barely got it in time to make it to the grid, and they've got some other problems.
And now you can see Stacy Compton very much in touch with Ron Hornaday. Let's go down to Dave.
Well, more on that 7 truck, Jeremy. They were so hopeful coming here, Brian Reffner and truck owner John Connolly. They brought with them a brand new motor, but they also brought with them Kurt Rohrig, the truck owner who won here last year with Tony Raines. He brought his notes and he brought his shock knowledge, and they qualified 8th. They were very hopeful until they popped that motor late yesterday night, and they are obviously now behind the wall and doesn't look good.
Already getting into some lap traffic. That was Phil Bonifield that you saw Stacy Compton blow by. Compton running in 3rd. That's Hornaday right in front of him, and well out in the distance is that man right there, the number 3 of Jay Sauter.
And Stacy Compton's really been bragging about these Dodge motors all weekend, about the power and the development that's gone into those motors. And you can see these Dodges not short on horsepower.
Ron Hornaday at Texas Motor Speedway, his best finish, 24th. That was back in 1998. Finished 27th the year earlier. And one of the things he told us was they were both times they were engine failures. They were asking too much of the motor, so they de-geared a little bit. You can see that they're going around a lot slower. That's Jeff Andretti going a lap down. And it seemed to pay some big dividends. He still qualified well.
Well, that was the thing. Hornaday really, he was downplaying their performance, saying, oh, you know, we're going to lay back a little bit. We're going to gear the truck down a little bit so it's not pulling as much RPM. And then he goes out with a great qualifying position in 4th.
Now let's go back to the battle for 12th. That's Mike Stefanik in the 66. Alongside is Mike Bliss in the 99. These guys have been going after each other, and they too going past the 94 of Jeff Andretti.
Well, and Mike Bliss, who started in 5th, has fallen down to the 12th position. So in the early going, that truck not performing very well.
Actually, he's lasted longer than before last year. I mean, last year he broke his shoulder in a crash about 5 laps into this thing. So anything right now has been an improvement over last year, and he has got the position back. In fact, he's closing in on Jimmy Hensley. You saw his best finish there. And notice that 18 truck right in front of Hensley. That is Joe Ruttman on board with Hensley as he is looking back on Mike Bliss. The sun is still trying to set in the west. I think it'll succeed. Can Jay Sauter succeed? We'll find out. Stay with us. Sauter is flying.
Yeah, that last lap, 171 miles an hour, so they've cooled off the pace a little bit. Things have settled in here a little bit, but these three very close. Ron Hornaday, Stacy Compton, and Andy Houston.
And rounding out the top 5 is the number 1 of Dennis Setzer. Dave, you've got an update on Jay Sauter?
Well, Marty, I want to tell you about the truck. It was obviously very fast in qualifying because it led its own lap. It was out front. But between qualifying and race trim, most of the teams added what they call gurney lifts or flaps on the fenders to give them a little more downforce in the front end. Sauter's team, the Goodwrench crew, added one only to the right side fender. They wanted to keep some of the speed out front, but they also wanted to give him some stability in traffic. Well, he's got the speed out front. That's pretty obvious. It'll be interesting to see if Jay gets caught in traffic with the fast guys, whether or not that 3 truck will handle.
And fortunately for Jay Sauter, he hasn't had to really deal with that problem yet. No doubt before the evening is over, he'll have to do that as Ron Hornaday now rolls up behind him. He's got a good run going into 3.
And as we pointed out, Hornaday has not done well here. Though he's a little loose there. I mean, he's finished 24th and 27th in our 2 trips prior to Texas Motor Speedway. And in 3rd place right behind him, the 86 of Stacy Compton. Compton says that, oh, and look at Hornaday coming up on him now as he's right on the back bumper of Jay Sauter. And Sauter, that last lap was down to 170. So did he overcook the tires? Here comes Hornaday. Could we have our first lead change? Yes, we do. And Compton trying to make it 2 positions that they'll set Sauter back, but nope, he closes the door.
And we didn't see Jay Sauter in that 3 truck doing a lot of long runs. These other trucks and other teams have been working and focusing a bit more on the longer runs, and that is really going to be the key if we go green.
Well, right now, Jay Sauter finds himself in 2nd place behind Ron Hornaday. Hornaday led 5 laps last year. That's the only time he has led prior to tonight here at Texas Motor Speedway. And here's a guy who has led more laps this season than anybody else, well over 400. Now let's move a little bit further back in the pack. Pick up the 8th position right there, the number 98. That is Kevin Harvick. I saw a little smoke on the truck behind him. Harvick's come up from 20th position, and that is Sawinski with the right front, a little bit of perhaps tire rub.
Yeah, it definitely looks like some tire rub on Sawinski's truck. Look at that. You can see it. Hopefully he's headed for pits. Yes, he is. He's headed for the pit lane.
Oh, he's got more damage to that right front.
Good call by Sawinski. You don't want that right front going down.
So while we got a quick glance at Kevin Harvick, who has moved from 20th to 8th position, just the opposite for Kevin Sawinski. He makes his way down the pit lane. There is Jimmy Hensley. Hensley currently trying to work his way through this pack and get back into the thick of things. He's in 9th position. Bliss is right behind him, the 18 of Joe Ruttman. You're wondering, wait a minute, what happened to Butch Miller, that 3rd truck in line? Miller was released from his contract this week. Despite having 4 top 10 finishes in this day and age, you've got to perform up to everybody's standards, and he is out of the ride. Joe Ruttman is in for this race only as of right now. No firm commitments as to what's going to happen to that 18 truck after today's race.
And Joe Ruttman only got that call on Tuesday. He didn't have a lot of time to prepare and actually came out here with Bobby Hamilton on Wednesday, and Hamilton tested the truck. Actually, they both drove the truck on Wednesday, and that was really the condition of him doing the deal.
Well, he took a truck last year, started 31st, and finished 3rd at this racetrack, so he does know how to hustle it around Texas Motor Speedway. The guy who's hustling right now, Ron Hornaday. He's out in front of Jay Sauter. We're back with more after this.